We are live. What's up, Blak Family? This is your big brother Blackman coming to you live from Blak Thoughtz. As you can see, I am joined today by my good brother, my big brother, Gary Foods.
What's
How you
up,
doing?
man? How you doing? I'm good, good. Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate
No,
you, man.
thank you for coming through, my brother. This is a difficult subject that I needed help with, and I'm happy that you are here to help me out.
Definitely.
We are discussing, as you guys can see at the bottom of the screen below, we are discussing being a black man in 2021. Not the easiest thing to do. And I am proud to be a black man. I know my brother, you are as well.
Proud to be black. Definitely don't want to be any other color. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm blessed to have the color. Man. I'm
Yeah.
blessed every morning I wake up and I still see pigmentation. Yeah. But it's a difficult time as we are dealing with the trial of Derek Chauvin right now and the murder of George Floyd, which I will be calling it as it is, as I saw it, as it actually is. What in reality, it was a murder. We are a few days removed from the death of Duante Wright at the hands of another police officer. Uh, Also, a few days removed from the death of young Adam Toledo, Latino child. He was only 13, also at the hands of other police officers.
Mm.
And I believe I want to say Indianapolis. I want to say Indianapolis, but I'm not even sure.
I can look it up if you want me to. Let me look it up. Let's
Yeah,
take
you can.
time to get it right. Who what was the gentleman that you were speaking of? Rest in peace,
Adam Toledo,
Adam Toledo. I got you. Let's see. Chicago,
Chicago. Yes, Chicago.
Chicago. 13 years old in Chicago.
Yes. For those who don't know, because I believe this story broke either yesterday or the day before, the police had received phone calls about shots of about hearing gunfire. They found two what they thought were men in an alley and chased them down. One of them stopped. They told him to freeze and turn around. The young boy is believe his family is disputing the fact that he had a gun at all, but
Yeah,
he did comply with police commands. He was told to turn around and drop the gun, which he did. And as you can see on the video, because also the video is out there, his hands were raised and the gun was already dropped when the officer fired. They
mm.
did try to resuscitate him at the scene. The officers did. He was killed at that scene. But this
Rest
is
in peace.
rest in peace to that young man. But so for black men, men of color, this is something that we see all too often. We've been dealing with. The original title for this was "Being a Black Man in a Pandemic" because it was literally at the start of the pandemic last year in March when Ahmaud Arbery was killed and Breonna Taylor, George Floyd in June. So this has been like the whole time. So this through this whole pandemic, we've been having to see men that look like us, that could be our fathers, that could be our brothers, literally murdered basically right in front of our eyes. We can watch this. It's like primetime television. So black man to black man, king to king. They say we don't talk enough. They say we don't express ourselves. So I just wanted to get to bring the world in on this to see how we are doing. Because
Mhm.
I know I'm having a difficult time through all this. And I know I'm not alone. So I just want to have another more to bring another mind into it.
I got you. I got you. I'm following you. I'm following you. Yeah.
So my brother, if you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, you can go ahead.
So my name is Gary Foods. Went to HBCU. Let's keep it black. Went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Another that's a black fraternity. Just to keep everything black. I met Mr. Blak Thoughtz here, my brother Blackman, when I went to a HOG match up in New York City. We met. We didn't actually necessarily meet there. I reached out to him via Instagram because I wanted to meet him more, and here we are today. A little bit more backstory. The reason why you see Gary Foods is I had a catering company during the pandemic, but it actually got shut down. not necessarily for anything sanitation wise, but just because of the pandemic overall. Nobody was necessarily looking to eat out, anything like that. So it just kind of, I lost, contracts. A Black business lost contracts in regards to catering and food. So I had to make a different way for myself. So I started the Rolling Pin podcast. It's also food related and wrestling related, which all ties into how me and Brother Black Man are here today.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
See, like even thinking about that, I completely like I've been like so encompassed in like police brutality and healthcare. I am a big supporter of black business. We every Friday we dedicate at least $10 of like our money in this household to black business.
That's what's up.
How so? Like I said, the original title for this was being black in a pandemic. I can see how the pandemic has affected you
Mm-hmm.
in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of all this, how have you been feeling in like since this pandemic started with all this going on?
Well, pandemic or not, Black people being killed is unfortunate by the hands of people, by anybody for that matter. It's just unfortunate to see that our people who look just like us being murdered in the streets. It could definitely be us. It could be our kids. So it's difficult. You could easily, I can say you can easily turn a blind eye to it, because whether you turn a blind eye to it or not, it's still happening. So, best thing you can do in these situations is, one, stay safe and keep your family safe, and always stay prayed up, because we don't live in a society that is currently fair. So I understand this, and I do my best to navigate through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how does it? What is your immediate reaction when you see things like this? How does it make you feel when you see like the faces of like these men on the news and find out they're
Yeah.
deceased, how they passed?
Well, what usually happens, I guess, for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but I think some people could probably relate. You mourn, you look at it, you automatically take a step back from your daily reality, and it reawakens you all over again. So you see one tragic incident, we go through a constant cycle of just, mourning and doing the best we can to support each other, and, going out on the streets of March. Then you got to get back to your normal daily life, as much as you try to be everywhere at once. Then it happens again. You reset, you go back into this mindset. So it's like you try to do what you can for each individual person who's passed away, but it just keeps happening again. It just keeps resetting and resetting. It just looks like it's not changing, and it's sad, but that's just the way it looks from my end,
Yeah. It's almost as if we're just like in a constant state of grief, because I said, like we don't really get to process one incident before the next one's already started. Like
right.
Young man, I forget the name. Duante Wright.
I'll This is just recent. This just recently happened.
Yes, Duante Wright is. This is all in the same state where George Floyd was killed, and we're still in the process of the trial of Derek Chauvin for that murder. And in fact, I believe young Dante's aunt said that I believe Dante's aunt or George Floyd's sister was Dante's teacher.
Yo, that's crazy.
Something like that.
It is crazy, man. I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
I just want to get that right.
Yeah, let me look it up. But this happened. This situation
out there, but we like to fact check around.
Yeah, you got to fact check. But this incident happened when he was in a car with, I think, a lady of his, right? And he was told to get out the car. What are we looking at? What's the question?
The relation between Duante Wright and George Floyd.
Rest in peace.
George Floyd's girlfriend, Courtney Ross, at one time was a teacher to Duante Wright.
Mm.
There we go.
So George Floyd. So who was the teacher?
George Floyd's girlfriend
I got you.
was Duante Wright. Duante Wright was only 19.
I got you.
Just like yourself, a young man, a father of, I believe, one child.
That's true. I read
What?
that's true. He was a father to one child.
Yeah, and just saying that we saw the same thing as with the George Floyd case, where immediately this young man has been demonized, where they have found pictures on social media of him with a gun, which is, I'm honest, I'm not gonna say like this isn't the absolute best thing,
Right.
especially as an image for a child, especially a young black man.
Well,
we know these young other kids have guns,
and to even add on to that, we could all blame it on systemic issues if we really wanted to take it there. You know what I mean? The reason why these kids are carrying these guns is systemic. Like, you know what I mean? It's coming from what the media chooses to share, you know what I mean, to us, and how they are pushing the agenda on how young black men should be perceived to look cool. You know what I mean? So it's all tied into this one thing that we talking about, which leads into this result. You know what I mean?
The way that these young men have to deal with the struggle in their own lives, and the way that the media uses music and movies and other forms of entertainment to glamorize it. Which, as you see, we all know what kind of music gets radio play. What kind of music gets back? The hood movies that we consider classics.
I'm gonna go ahead.
There's a reason that those movies get big movie production back.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this while we already on this joint going live. I'm gonna just say, if y'all see me with a gun and something happened to me, dude, y'all just need to know that I was just trying to protect myself and my family. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there since it's already. I don't know if this is recorded or not, but if they're gonna put that image up, make sure this video comes up directly after. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Have you ever considered getting a gun license and like arming yourself?
I mean, yeah, like at this point, I think everybody should. Looking at how everything is, like, you just never know what the fuck to expect nowadays. Like, from anybody, shit, you gotta go against, white supremacy, and then you got this constant struggle of jealousy and all this stuff in your own community. You know what I mean? So it's just, and then on top of that, when you do get it, they're trying to label you a thug. So you gotta conduct yourself, accordingly. When you got it. So
I've considered it as well. I don't. There's no wood. Knock on wood. Like, unfortunately,
I got you.
I have no felonies. I am eligible for one. I have been considering it, especially there was a period of time where I had considered moving to the South, just because I'm in New York City and it is really cheaper in the South. Yeah. Also, don't know if I would feel safe down there, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Alabama, so. It's I'll tell you, like, I visit, like, not as frequently as I should, maybe like once a year. I try to get down there once a year, but the way the environment is down there, it's like, it's, I ain't gonna say for everybody, because I don't like to generalize everybody's being racist or whatnot, but they have like a kind of a culture down there, like on like what's understood on gotta be explained type situation. Whereas up here, you might have like some people in your face that really don't know, you know what I mean, who are and who are not. But down there, it's like, it's kind of still got that you already know the vibes type situation, so yeah.
So as we said earlier, like as far as like arming yourself, because we go out in our own neighborhoods, there's always danger, based on the conditions that our community is placed in. There's also, I believe it was just a freestyle. I wanted to quote Jay-Z earlier when you said it, because Jay-Z said, "They call us crabs in a barrel, but crabs don't belong in a barrel."
Damn. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, and it's like, because I've always used that reference before when I think about how black people, there's always some of us are trying to come up out of this and pull as many of us out as we want, pull as many of us with us. But then like there's always a certain group that's just gonna be like, well, hey, it's gonna try to bring that group down. It's just like the jealousy, the envy, the anger towards each other, the mistrust. These are all conditions that were forced on us. We are conditioned to look at each other
That's sad.
this way. But on that subject, like you said, like we go like in our own neighborhoods, in our own community, there's danger. And then we go out in the street, we can't trust. We are told to trust a system that we are taught is here to help us, that is taught to keep peace and bring justice. But we come to find out like, hey, this peace and this justice, this freedom was created by land owning rich white men, and it's still for land owning rich white men.
And that, I mean to cut you off, but answer your point too. It's just like if you don't know, if you don't know, there's nothing you can do when you feel in a certain way. Because there are people out here, at times where they just look at a black person, or you see a black person, and you automatically feel like you want to fight. You know what I mean? Like it's some people out here who just have that mentality when you make eye contact. If I didn't know you, I'm not saying me personally, but there are people out here that they look at you and they see the color of your skin, and there's a level of hate that's involved in that they don't understand that's happening to them due to systemic reasons, and they just automatically they get into this fight mode. You know what I mean? Where it's all due to that whole psychological, setup. You know what I mean? Like now people are glorifying not trusting each other. You know what I mean? So it's wild.
I'm sorry to cut you.
No. I was just making that point.
We discussed this in an earlier episode. It's like one of our first episodes from last summer, where we discussed the residual effects of slavery. Where it's just like with slavery in America and apartheid in Africa, it's a tactic that they use to keep black people against each other instead of coming together. Because if we all come together, we could have taken over every plantation if we wanted to.
That's true.
Slaves easily outnumbered slave masters, slave catchers, overseers. But it's that mistrust in each other, that jealousy towards each other that they distilled upon us that kept us separate.
And also to add to that, also being in a foreign land, you know what I mean? You have no idea what the hell's going on where you at. So all of that.
So my question was, is there anywhere, as a black man, is there anywhere that you feel completely safe, completely accepted?
Shit. The safest, I can't say completely safe, you know what I mean? But the safe is in the confines of my own residence, or around family members or people who look like me, who have like-minded ideas. You know what I mean? In that instance, then yes, like this conversation between us, this is a very safe environment, a very safe conversation for you to have these talks, because you can't have them on a daily basis. You know what I mean? But you got to kind of create those type of circumstances to yourself to the best of your ability. But I don't think I could say 100% safe. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll ever be there. But we do what we do. We do our best we can to meet up with and hook up with people who are on that same frequency, who can work together and make something happen. You know what I mean? For generations to come. I guess that's the safest you usually get in these instances in America.
I try to be in as try to keep like the space around me as black as can be.
Mm-hmm.
I started to say with as many, like I like to be around as many people of color as can be, but as we've come to like learn, well, the people of color and black people are two different things.
I got you. Explain that, because I'm not familiar. Go ahead. I'm learning here.
The difference between people of color and black people.
Yeah.
Okay, so as black people, we have come to find that all people of color are not for us.
Okay. So I can definitely agree with that. I can agree with that.
Perfect example. There's a memorial that was set up for Duante Wright in this past week, and it was vandalized last night.
Damn, by black people? By people? No, okay, I was about to say that'd be wild.
By a white man and two Asians. So the Asian, their names are here.
That shit, wow, that's wild.
Yes,
And
so their names are here, and I'm gonna put them. I'm gonna put them shits out there because
then yeah,
they
you got to
all
put it out
have
there.
records for
And
the from this past year.
and the thing is, it's like why you looking at that? It's just like I don't know. It's got to be something with that area where they got something like a ring set up. I don't know if George Floyd's if that situation was related, then it's got to be a situation where those cops down there are related in some way, where they just doing shit like this and they getting away with it. It's just it's not a coincidence how close these situations were in time and just in location.
Yeah. So here I'm trying to
That's wild.
get the article that has the name of the people that vandalized it.
Let me look it up. Vanilla.
Visual. So this is an article from Newsweek that I have here.
Let me see.
They've been identified. I don't know if they've been arrested. They were identified, and their pictures have been put out.
Straight up, just it's some racism. It's some heavy racism going on in that area. You know what I mean? I think they got like a little ring or something going down over there. Cause how you kill somebody in the same time frame as the George Floyd incident, and that hasn't even been solved yet all the way. Like people just down there.
I believe there were protests for the trial, and I believe like people were gathering for that. And in the midst of this, he was pulled over and shot. Okay, so I don't want to take up too much time trying to get these people's names, but they were all found. They were all like, I don't know.
It's good that they were found though. Regardless if we find them, it's good that they were found.
Yeah. So there was one. It was a young man who was arrested for. So the dude was arrested for multiple counts of domestic violence against his partners, and it was multiple women.
Who was that?
The Caucasian man that vandalized Duante Wright's vigil.
And he was arrested for what?
Multiple counts of domestic violence against multiple partners.
Oh, so he had a history of just like being a savage.
Yes, and it's rumored that it's his girlfriend. It was a young lady, an Asian young lady who had been arrested either earlier this year or late last year. I believe multiple times at she is a anti-vaxxer and COVID-19 conspiracy theorist. She's been arrested at protests against not against COVID-19, but like against like wearing masks and like following COVID-19.
Yeah.
And the last one is another Asian young man. His name is Tracy. His last name hasn't been revealed. I remember his name is Tracy. As he was being recorded, he was telling the person that was recording him, "Hey, you don't know who I am," but he had got his picture is out there. He's been recognized, but his last name hasn't been put out there.
Yeah. They probably all knew each other too. They probably got together like and rallied up on a couple of occasions before that, because it's just ironic how he had an Asian girlfriend and whatnot, and people are just Asian. I don't want to make up nothing, but that should just
yeah.
It sounds like they they had a history together.
Yeah,
but that's unfortunate.
That's the example I had for like, hey, so like when we're talking specifically on Black issues, it's hard. It's easy to see that like all people of color are not here for Black issues. So that's why there is a separation between Black people and people of color. It's not that like we have a problem with other people of color, because we all mostly share the same backgrounds, and depending on the setting, we all do share the same social issues, the same civil rights issues. But as you see, like you go to like the Dominican Republic, there are Black Dominicans that face racism in the Dominican Republic from Latino. Yeah. Haitians are treated like trash in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, that shit happens everywhere.
Yeah. So
how have you been like I guess let me ask you this: how have you been processing all of this? What have you been going through mentally, and are you okay? I want to ask you that because you asked me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I mean?
So my answer to this is like it's a question that I actually have for you as well.
Oh yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, do you find yourself numb? Because my answer to your question is I found myself numb. That's why as people can see, like I haven't even been as active on Blak Thoughtz for the last like couple weeks. Like this is like my
Yeah.
first podcast back in a couple weeks. Because
Thank you. Thank you for all you do. If this unnumbs you, then thank you. I just want to
yeah,
thank you publicly and make sure because your work doesn't go unnoticed. You know what I mean? You're doing the right thing.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, brother. It's just that it's a lot of shit and it's a lot to see. And I don't want to feel like, like I don't feel like I'm giving up. It's just that basically like my mind's kind of it's like lagging.
Yeah.
Like
I
this
feel
is
you.
a lot of shit to like catch up on.
I mean,
It's like I'm just getting into like catching up on like all the information I need on the Duante Wright situation, and then Adam Toledo comes up.
yeah.
Adam
And we,
Toledo was actually killed days ago on the 29th of March. It's just the footage is just coming out.
yeah. I mean, we try to numb ourselves to prevent ourselves from just being in constant fear. I think it's safer for us mentally to numb ourselves than to be involved with it and keep keep what I mean, like putting our mind on it 24/7, because being numb is just as bad as you watching this stuff 24/7 and being overly sensitive. You know what I mean? Like if you see too much of it and you try not to numb yourself, then you equally, you know what I mean? You might be even worse off. So I think, and so I'm not gonna say it's okay to be completely numb, even though I feel myself becoming numb at times. But it is okay if you need to take a break, because you are just one man, and you can only process so much information while still taking an attempt to enjoy a fucking pleasant, peaceful life. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't want you to feel bad about that. You know what I mean? I feel like I become numb sometimes too. I try to look away from these incidents, and at times I feel like, damn, I'm just one person. Like, what can I really do? But it's nice to know that we're having this conversation. And in this instance, we are being sensitive to the topic, and we are doing what we can as a collective to, what I mean, make sure our shit is heard and make sure everybody else is, aware that we out here trying to push it forward.
Do you ever find yourself being triggered?
Triggered by what? Like, explain that in detail.
So like one example I have is like when people try to justify these killings. Like the defense.
No, go ahead. Go. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm here. I'm listening.
It made me laugh a little bit because it's like stupid.
That's
Like
good.
the way Derek Chauvin's defense is trying to pin George Floyd's death on so many other things. Like they're trying to blame it on apparently he had drugs in his system.
Yeah, I don't like that shit. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like when they do that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
like they be trying to dilute the fact that some people would just hate other people. You might catch me with drugs in my system, but that don't mean I'm out here fucking terrorizing the fucking community. You know what I mean? That don't mean I'm out here doing wrong shit. You know what I mean? I might be going to the fucking beach with drugs in my system. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? But what really matters is that, you know what I mean, people are pulling up on you and trying to fucking take your life away.
Yeah.
Like that's the fucking truth. You know what I mean? I'm sure he had drugs, but just because he had drugs in the system, that don't mean he was out to fucking kill anybody. You know what I mean? Like
there was
that's BS.
So they had I believe it was a doctor or an examiner that they had his defense had the other day that was saying that it was actually the carbon monoxide coming from the exhaust pipe of the car
That did what?
that killed George Floyd.
Man.
So I'm listening to this. And I'm
hell
like,
no, man. Like, come on now.
Okay, cool. Let's say the carbon monoxide.
Don't even entertain that. Like that's I don't like, you know what I'm saying?
But why
if you didn't entertain it, like that's gonna make it.
Why was he at the exhaust pipe? Because he was being fucking held down there.
I would say that the fucking exhaust pipe assisted. It might have assisted with the fact that he had a knee on his neck. Shit, already loss of oxygen. Imagine being on the fucking ground, somebody got a knee on your neck, and the fucking carbon monoxide is going into your fucking lungs at the same time. Then shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it ain't just because of Neil's neck. Like what the fuck? It's no. That's not a this or that situation. That's a. It's his knee is on his neck, and the fucking carbon monoxide is going into his fucking lungs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And then we also have, like we said earlier, like we all in their mission to like demonize the victim in all of these cases. They looked into George Floyd past. He had recent arrests. He has history of drug use. Derek Chauvin also has a past. And it's just like, why is no one looking into this? Derek Chauvin had his case similar to this in 2017 with a young black man doing the same exact thing, where he had his knee in the back or on the back of the neck of a young black man, and the young black man was saying like, "Hey, I can't breathe."
Yeah.
He just happened like, luckily he survived, and I'm hoping he's okay today. That has to be heartbreaking to look at this case and see like this man got away with it when he did it to me, did it again, and succeeded this time.
Yeah. I mean, they're just missing. They're just taking out of the fact that some people wake up and they really be out here looking to fucking victimize. Like, I mean, looking to terrorize. Some people wake up and be like, man, who the fuck can I go at today? As they armoring up and putting shit on their weight. Like, you know what I mean? You know, I'm pretty sure you can kind of get a feel for how somebody's feeling if they fucking gearing up in the morning and, you know, they already got this feeling in their head of just hating people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like people not taking that into account. You know what I mean? People not taking training into account. People not taking the interview process into a fucking account on how these people are even getting here in the first place. If they already had history, I mean, that was what you're talking about, history pre-fucking, you talking about history post him being a police. But shit, what was his history like before he even got there? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. So I've often wondered that. What is the process for them passing psychological exams?
That's what I'm saying.
And it seems like this should also be a process. This shouldn't be just like a one and done thing or even like a yearly thing. This should be like this should be constantly monitored.
Right.
At least quarterly every year.
And the people who are monitoring them need to be constantly monitored.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
that's what like so it's just because it's just like power corrupts just like money corrupts.
Yeah.
It's just like you give people you give them a badge. So you're giving them authority. You're giving them a weapon with the power to take life. You are giving them. You're basically giving them. I'll probably get flack for you. Basically, you're giving them a gang. It's brother, like
I mean, you can look at it like that.
Police are a gang.
You can look at it like that. You know what I mean?
It's mafia.
It's some systems they run in. It's some organizations that are being ran in these systems, and they don't necessarily just got to do with killing. It's also drug related stuff that goes on in these situations too. Yeah,
sex trafficking.
Yeah, fraud, all this type of shit be going on in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, nobody's perfect.
No one at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it brings up like, so like I said, they look into like the past of like these victims and like basically, especially based on the conditions of like the environment that they were brought up in, all these things are reasonable. But a past is a past, and people have like a chance to change. Like I have a past. Like I do. Like I'm not a saint.
Let me ask you this though. I don't want to go too off a tangent, but looking into the future, would you be opposed to having robots as police? Like if that was a thing, like would you separate that situation out and then put that situation in, or would you keep it how it is right now?
I would keep humans.
Oh, I mean, I was just asking because you know they be talking about shit like that too.
Yeah,
about how the future might look, you know, in regards to all that.
No, because have you seen? So I want to bring up Ultron.
I seen that. I don't want to go too off topic. I don't want to sound like you know what I mean. Like this is real though. Like people be talking about this type of shit. Like
because it's AI.
Yeah.
But, basically, there's another thing. It's
iRobot.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
Whereas
Oh
basically
yeah. Hmm.
they can like I think like they can predict who's gonna commit crime,
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah,
and then they just go get the person like before like the crime's committed. They like
that'd be
tag,
dope.
and it's just also who's gonna be programming these like
Oh
robots.
yeah, and we already know who's gonna be programming these motherfuckers.
Yes,
Like it's gonna be the same shit.
and they're gonna have the same prejudices towards people of color.
Yeah,
Like it's hard enough to have like an officer in your neighborhood that's from your neighborhood that looks like you. It's like
yeah,
these motherfuckers is gonna be programmed by someone in like China or like India. They're gonna
yeah,
outsource this shit too.
yeah. I mean, switching it back, going back to it though, it's just like the only thing you can really do for real is just, I mean, but black people got to sign up to be police officers damn near and police their own shit. You know what I mean? If it's really like that, if it's
Yes,
really going, that's one immediate change that I can see happening. Like if black people just was like, man, fuck this, man, we're gonna become cops then too, and then they just be in their own inner cities and stuff like that. Now you still gonna have to go against the fact that you might have to kill a black person because it do be some black people out here who be wilding for real on cops, regardless.
and
So
honestly, even when I look into situations where it's like an armed black person,
mhm,
there are it's very like there are other ways to have gone around that situation besides killing that person.
yeah,
Like there are non-lethal shots. I don't believe every police. I'm honestly not sure if they all do. I don't believe every police officer should have a gun. Period.
yeah, that's a fact.
That's a little unnecessary. Some of them should just have tasers. Some
Don't they have guns where they have it where like you going back non-lethal shots? Like don't they have guns that just dent the skin a little bit versus like completely penetrating it?
Yeah, I know they have duck shot.
Yeah.
I know like it's a thing in the South. I learned about duck shot from Dave Chappelle. Where
Mm,
it's like I know like for your home, you have to have duck shot.
I got you.
Where it's
I
just
got you.
like you have to have I think it's duck shot, bullet. As far as
Mm,
how the gun is loaded, so it's just like, hey, you shot him once, they're still coming. You shot him twice, they're
I
still
got
coming.
you. I got
That
you.
third one,
It's
that's
gonna
on.
be the yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Going back to the I'm going back to the situation with Duante Wright. So he was told to get out of the car for what was it, expired tag?
uh,
I think he
I
had I think he had an expired tag. That's what they said from what I read. But they told him to get out of the car. I'm just trying to figure out what happened in that instant. Like was he like what was going on in that situation? Like to where he was shot. Like was there like a scuffle? Like was there like argument? Like, I don't know what happened in that one instance.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I'm sure he was like I don't even want to guess.
Yeah, because so unfortunately, so this is goes on par with this conversation because
Mm,
as it was with George Floyd, there is a video of this incident, and as it is with young Adam Toledo as well. There's a video of this incident. I can't watch these things anymore.
I
Like
feel
I'm
you.
pretty sure I would have way more information
Nah, I got you.
if I could like just watch these things. I can't sit through this thing. I can't sit through
Yeah,
this thing anymore.
yeah, I feel
So,
you. I feel you, man.
let me get this. Where's my save? He was pulled over. He was pulled over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror.
Okay, I read expired tags. I don't know why.
This is I'm using my source is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ap.com. So if I'm wrong out there, that's for that I'm citing my source.
It's all good.
This is from apnews.com, article written by Denise Laveau from April 14th, 2021.
So he had the air freshener. Okay, he had the air freshener.
And he had a warrant for
Mm.
okay, seriously.
And his warrant probably led the cop to tell him to get out of the car because he ain't just getting out of the car for no air
Yes.
freshener.
Okay, so I do have this. He had a warrant for a weed charge from last year, I believe. And I think he refused. I think he didn't appear in court.
Mm. So the cop was probably looking for that weed
So according
when he
to
pulled
AP,
him out.
according to court records, Wright was being sought after failing to appear in court on charges that he fled from officers and possessed a gun without a permit during an encounter with Minneapolis police in June. A search of court records shows Wright had a minor criminal record with petty misdemeanor convictions for possession slash sale of a small amount of marijuana and disorderly conduct. So that's on par with what I said earlier.
Now I'm trying to be a human in this situation for real, and I'm trying to look at it objectively. I ain't siding with no white people, but if I was a black cop and I pulled over somebody like that, I would be on the fence already, and you would too if you seen somebody running from cops and fleeing with a gun. I don't know what happened in this instance.
But that's not the case here though.
That's not the case here. But going back to the human piece, now people do be humans, and if you read that, you would, in your mind, like legit though, like in your mind, you would be like, damn, okay, well, I know what I might be up against. Now I don't know the process and procedures on how the fuck, I don't know how it worked when you pulling somebody out of the car and whatnot. I don't know what happened right there, but I'm sure he wasn't looking to kill the fucking police officer.
No, from what I mean? His hands were up. He reached for nothing.
See,
that's in a small clip that I could watch. Where
okay.
They have like the still on. It's not a still. It's like they bring it out to a couple seconds on the news where it's like they're telling him to get out of the car. His hands are up.
See, if his hands up, then that's supposed to be now they be saying in the police shit. Now that's the sign of a surrender. You know what I mean? If your hands up, that's a sign of I ain't trying to do nothing.
Yes, his hands are up. And the officer that shot him says that she had her gun confused with her taser.
That's wild.
Who isn't? She's a 26 years on the force, and
that's wild.
And was training other officers as recent as of last year.
That's wild. Now that's some dumbass shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna just say it like that. Like you ain't just pulling out no fucking tape. You can't do that. Yes. You're not just about to be. You're not about to get away with that. We can't let that slide.
So
you're supposed to be trained to know that type of stuff. You're supposed to be trained to know what side it's on. You're supposed to be ready for these type of situations. You ain't about to pull out no motherfucking. I don't mean to cuss, but that just got me upset a little bit. You ain't pull out no taser, no gun, and be like, oh shit, I thought it was my taser. That's a big difference. Aren't they different in color? They can't be the same color.
No, they're not. The tasers, they're usually yellow.
See?
They're usually a bright color. They're not the same color as the gun.
That's what I'm talking about. They be just making up shit.
So why have you here? I asked this question the other day after I've always asked this question, but Amanda Seales and the brother that hosts the Daily Show.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar. I think Amanda Seales, she's like a comedian, right?
Yes.
All right.
The Daily Show. That's one of my favorite comedians. So I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Trevor Noah. Yeah.
I see him on the news.
Yes. He hosts the Daily Show on Comedy Central. It's a political.
Yeah, I got you.
It's about news. About the news.
I got you. That's where I seen him, yeah.
They've been talking about police corruption and like good cops versus bad cops. Whereas basically the question is it's not the existence of good cops. It's just where are the good cops when these bad cops.
That's a fact. I haven't seen any. Yeah, like they should be standing up and protesting just as much. We need a police protest. If it's good cops out there, why don't they? We need a good cop protest. Legit. Yeah.
So I want to ask you: do you believe that there can be good cops?
Yes.
Which me even saying it sounds like an unfair question.
Yeah, I'm not going to even be like all cops are bad.
Yes or no. But so what do you say yes, and why do you say yes?
Every time I see a cop, regardless if they're good or bad, I don't even know them, so I'm gonna already be uneasy. You know what I mean? But there are good cops out there. There are good people out there. You know what I mean? Who legit be signing up for these things, but we just can't recognize them. There's no different. They don't have like a patch on the shoulder to say I'm the good cop. I'm the bad cop. We just don't know. So every cop looks bad because of what the media is putting up. We don't see fucking police officers pulling cats and shit out of the tree every day on the news. We won't see that. We won't see when people are doing the right things. You know what I mean? So we only see what we see. And when we go out there in real life, when we see good or bad, we just be like, man, I'm not fucking with this cop.
Yeah.
He automatically bad.
And it's in turn, it's the same way that they are trained to look at us, where it's not like it's a prejudice that's developed over time.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like the same way they're saying that, hey, they judge situations, they judge like potential perps on things that they've seen, things that they know, and we can only do the same. I personally say no, and it's not because I think that all cops are bad people or that there are no good people behind those badges. It's just that the system is so corrupt. It is hard for there to be good cops because even when they try, they're actually trying to do the best that they can for their community. And there are good cops that like try to stand up to the system and do like the right thing and like stop and like report these other officers when they see things that are going awry. Like I said, it's that mafia shit within the police department.
Yeah, it's a subculture in there somewhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They will get you out. You reporting another officer for doing something wrong, for rightfully reporting another officer, will get you ostracized.
Yeah.
Will get you threatened.
And
Will get you reprimanded.
Yeah, they got it locked in to where the chain of command is so high that, you know what I mean, they could easily just talk to these people like up there, and be like, yeah, we're going to fix that. We're going to make that go away. You know what I mean?
By any chance, do you watch Chicago PD?
I don't.
So I share the EP watches it, and like I catch it with her. So I didn't see the whole thing because like I don't watch every episode. I just watch it whenever she's watching it. So I believe they had ended the last season with a black police officer, Officer Atwater. He a white cop had killed. He killed a gangbanger, but dude was unarmed. It was an unnecessary kill. So Atwater did his part just to be like, well, hey, you know, he didn't have to kill that guy, and just reported it. So all the other officers came after him. The officer that he reported was Caucasian. The officers there, I think they destroyed his squad car. And in the episode that I saw, it ended with him getting jumped and beaten in the street. Easily, but I didn't watch the next episode.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the next episode. I have no idea. Like, and then like with the episode when I came back on, they had moved on from that. So I was asking like, how did that end? And I don't think she ever got around to that.
Yeah, we talking about. I mean, it's soldier, but we talk about cops too. But we can't forget about these military men. Like it's all connected in a way. You know what I mean? Like those people are all like in that same. They're in different divisions, but that group be the same. You know what I mean? Like we got to make sure we keep our eye on them too. They got it locked up too. You know what I mean? It's all related. I'm sure they all can get together at the end of the night and just share stories and shit. You know, so we up against this is a David and Goliath situation. Like we up against a huge monstrosity of a monster.
Do you believe that the institutions and the forces in this country that are in place to protect and serve the community are there to protect and serve our community?
I think I mean, looking at just everything in general, just not necessarily just police officers, institutions in general, like they usually favor, they usually have a bias associated with them from colleges, banks, and going back into the fucking police academies and stuff like that. There's usually favoritism and bias towards, white people. You know what I mean? Being that we on the lands of white people, they gonna look out for them first. You know what I mean? And if you look at Asian culture, they look out for their people first. If we had our own shit, we would look out for our people first. So I gotta say, based on what I've seen from churches, banks, all these institutions, they favor the side of the majority of these white people.
So, in all honesty, since you like kind of like touched on it real quick,
Mhm.
so if black people had the same power as everyone else, like if black people had the opportunity to flip this script and treat everyone else the same way that we've been treated, I don't believe things would go. I don't believe things would go the same way.
I mean,
I've never known black people to be, as a people, to be selfless. Black people,
yeah,
black people be out there like helping. Black people, we build, we
for the
uplift.
most part, yeah. I think it's because I think that question is more so like the answer of, I guess the reason why you've been saying it that way is because we've been fucking suppressed for so long that, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
been our it's just our generous nature just to try to do what we can to make ends meet just all the way around. You know what I mean? We don't have that, we don't
Whether
have that, we don't have that dominating power type situation because we're not in a position to dominate or like put power on anybody. You know what I mean?
I don't believe that's.
If it was flipped,
I don't believe corruption is something of African culture.
nah, it's not. I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think. Nah, we don't have. I mean, if you just look at the two cultures separately throughout history and civilization, you know what I mean. We taking it back to like war times with swords and shit, all the way back. They've always had like a mindset of conquering and like expansion, and you know what I mean, like just power, like legit. You know what I mean? We never, from what I read, we never had that type of situation where we just traveled the world looking to dominate other civilizations. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
those people had that in them kind of in a way systemically. Like they look at their, oh, my grandpa did this, and that shit goes back and back and back to conquering days. Like so, they had that that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then it don't help that they put that shit in movies too. They put shit like that in movies for them too. Just we get media stuff put on us, but they got stuff in media that helps them out too. You know what I mean? Makes them look like heroes and good guys and all this while they doing this shit. So
they,
they justify it.
they even whitewash our own heroes just to
Yeah,
get, like, I stopped watching like movies. I stopped watching movies about Egypt and gods if there's no black people.
I
It
feel you
has
on
to be,
that.
the cast has to be like either all black or all people of color. If
I
it's
feel
like
you on
the
that.
last one, like that last straw was, it's a movie. I think it's just called Gods of
Yeah, you
Egypt.
can't just have no motherfucking white people in no damn movie in Africa now. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Uh, it was with the dude from Game of Thrones and another, I don't know what the other white lead was. There was also that last Tarzan movie that came out. I didn't watch that.
Mm,
'Cause I was just like, I don't
yeah,
want to see a blonde haired, blue eyed white man become the king of the jungle in Africa. Like, it's
yeah,
not.
that's wild. Yeah, that's wild. That's that same what I was talking about. That's that same corruption domination type thing. They just put it in different systems. Like we're gonna put it in movies. We're gonna dominate in these movies now. You know what I mean? We see it. We know what the fuck is going on. I ain't even no need of fronting. Like
So in the midst of all of this, as we see, like we constantly see these things on the news, and we're either angered by it, militarized by it, or sometimes, as we said earlier, sometimes we go numb to it. Um, for you, like yourself, person, like for like you said, like this last year, for you to be like the man that you are HBCU college graduate,
mm-hmm,
uh, business owner, successful
mm-hmm.
podcast.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
but for the things that like you've had to endure, watching police brutality on the news, worrying about like safety of like yourself and your family, how the pandemic has affected your black owned business. Where I quote this all the time, by August of last year, and the pandemic started in March of last year, like lockdown. 41% of Black-owned businesses had closed, which
Hmm.
was only compared to 17% of like Caucasian-owned businesses, and like
Hmm.
right behind Black-owned was like a 31 or 33, or Hispanic.
Hmm.
Was just like obviously you're a brother that keeps fighting, you keep going. Like you said,
Got to.
you found more outlets for yourself. What are things like? How do you cope with all of
Now, I did read that question earlier, and I'm gonna be completely transparent in this situation. Shit, I've been smoking weed to cope, and that's been numbing me at the same time. But I will say, having these conversations also help. I also like to paint. I also like to draw and express myself artistically, as you can see.
this?
So
Yes.
I do these type of things to try to get my mind off of the situation, even though it still exists. But some might argue that you might need therapy. Some might, but what I've been doing is just, just finding my own therapy for myself in a secluded environment and just working through my own problems and my own thoughts, and it's good that I can tap in with people like you from a distance and being here because I don't get as much as you be by yourself and going through these things, you still can't talk and have conversations with somebody else about it to see if you even fucking make sense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I just want to say, yeah, that's how I've been coping with it, and that's how I continue to cope with it, in hopes that things will get better. And prayer, I didn't fucking mention prayer. Prayer is very key. Um, it's like the number one thing for real. So yeah, all of that, all of that in one.
What are things? Well, obviously you mentioned your painting, your artistry earlier.
Yeah,
These are like other. These are all the things that bring you joy.
yeah.
Assuming that like
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Like I actually started painting when COVID started. I didn't know that I could even paint until COVID really started to happen. You know what I mean? I just been perfecting my craft and my skill throughout because you're told, and what's good for your mental health is focusing on things that you can control. I know you've been hearing this. I know everybody's been hearing this.
yes,
Try to find things that you can, occupy your mind with to develop and become better, for people who need you and stuff like that. Because going back to the situation with these people who've been killed, rest in peace. We can't really do nothing about it. We can, but not on a day-to-day basis unless you really going out there.
yeah.
Yeah, unless you're really going out there and you really, like marching, which I have done during this time. But you got to do stuff that just that you can focus on and you control for self-development, and try not to be selfish in that whole situation. Like when these things come up, pop your head back up and come back over and assist in any way. Yeah.
I love that. Man.
What about you, as far as like coping? How do you cope? You know what I mean? I know that you wrestle. You know what I mean? You go to the gym. I know those things help.
Yeah. So how do I cope?
Yeah.
I be stressed. I be stressed the hell out, honestly.
Yeah, I be trying not to. That's my number one thing, man. I be like, I cannot stress myself out.
Yeah,
That'd be my number one thing.
yeah. Cause it's hard, especially like.
Well, what helps you alleviate stress?
Also, I go to the gym a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, I have wrestling. Uh, Last weekend is like one of the most like especially for all year. Last weekend is one of the most fun weekends I've had.
That's good.
You said like you have a wrestling podcast. I am
Yeah.
a professional wrestler from House of Glory in New York, Master P. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Master P and Blackman was on my podcast, so yeah, make sure y'all check that out. We had a conversation during Black History Month. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
I double check.
Yeah,
You hit the link in my bio. It should be there. It will be there definitely after this.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so last weekend I get to like to enjoy like other moments of like Black excellence. So I know like our story is not just a story of like pain and trauma. We have
Right.
we do have our happy moments. So even like last week, getting to watch WrestleMania and getting to
Yeah.
watch Bobby Lashley defend the WWE
Yeah.
Championship and
That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to Bobby Lashley. We have heroes out here. We have some heroes. We have some heroes.
getting to watch Titus O'Neil get the Warrior Award for
Hmm.
his philanthropic. Um.
Yeah, he's in my fraternity. That's my fraternity brother.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
I'll see. That's dope.
yeah.
And,
Shout
coming.
out to Titus O'Neil. I really want him on the podcast too. I think that'd be a pretty dope experience, especially when we talk about stuff like this. All the way around, like it'd be cool to have him.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
Even if I don't get him on the podcast, even if I could just chop it up with him for a couple minutes.
yeah.
Even if it's just to say like thank you for being like a great example. Not a
He's
good,
good. He's really good in his position.
not a good example. A great example.
Great example. Great example. Great example.
Yeah.
He's constant. Yeah.
That's
Titus O'Neil is constantly helping people, and he really gets in there with the other culture too. Like he can blend well without having that mental hate in him to do that. You know what I mean? And that's everybody can't do that. Everybody can't go in there and mix it up with white people the way he do and help them out equally. You know, he's really about equality. You can tell.
And then also I got to come down to the main event of watching Bianca and Sasha get their flowers, getting to have their moment. Where honestly, professional wrestling, for all the wrestling fans out there that watch this, we all know like for the last year, no one is touching Sasha's work.
Yeah, she's been holding it down.
Top to the bottom, from literally the top from the top of the card to the bottom of the card since the pandemic started last year. From Mania
Yeah,
last year to Mania this year, no one's had a better year than Sasha.
in and out wrestling because she was in movies, she was in Star Wars and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She really got there.
yeah. Uh, and
Shout out
then
to Sasha Banks.
the young up and coming Bianca get like her moment.
I really like Bianca Belair. She's like a sister for real. Like legit. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't seen anybody like that in wrestling ever who can
Yeah,
really speak that same slang,
yeah.
who can
I,
connect with that audience.
I didn't realize she was from the South until like she like when she won at the Rumble, she was like Mama and Daddy. I was
Yeah. She from I think Tennessee.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
but that is nasty. And then
yeah,
just to watch those women like enjoy their moment. I have my family time.
yeah.
I,
Great. We're talking about things we're grateful for right now, y'all.
yeah,
This is what we're grateful for. This helps, and this answers the question to helping how we cope, being grateful and counting our blessings.
yeah.
Yeah,
I get to watch my little cousin Hassan, who is coming into his own. I think he's 22 now, becoming a leader in his family, uh, making a way for himself to like just like he's took like his parents gave him like a really nice blueprint of him
that's
like
what's up.
to toy with it and find like his own ways. It's beautiful to watch that. My niece and my nephew out here doing their thing too. Like my niece, like she's a career woman now and working on bettering herself. My nephew just turned 19.
Mm-hmm.
See the youth like do their thing. I have Ashay with me, who's also she's a couple years younger than me, but
So
so
yeah, so you got somebody that'll hold you down. You know what I mean?
I'm a millennial. She's Gen Z. Is it Gen Z is the one that's like right under us, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me look that up.
It's
Gen
not the Gen
Z.
Z. I believe it's Gen Z.
I'm about to look it up.
But like I have her and just to watch her coming into her own, constantly working, constantly trying to better herself. And then for her to be there for me where I can have a soft spot, which is
But
I
Gen
really
Z, Gen Z. Wait, how old is she?
she's 24.
1996 is. Let me see.
Yeah, some of them say it starts at 94 or 95.
Yeah,
It's all
around there.
or 96.
Yeah, 90s. After millennials is Gen Z. Gen Z is 1997. Well, this one says 1997 2012. That came
Yes,
1997.
some of them, yeah. So that's what some of them say. It's anywhere from 94 to 94 after. That always starts there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some put them in the millennial category because it says 1981 to 1996 is millennials. Then it has 1997 or after is Gen Z. And then there's Generation Alpha, which is like my son. It's like 2010 and after.
So what am I?
How old are you? How old are you?
30.
You gotta be you a millennial because I'm 29 and I'm a millennial.
Yeah, but that didn't that just say 1991 was millennial?
1991 is definitely millennial.
Yeah, but no, it said 1990. It said 91 to 98 is millennial.
It says 1981 to 1996 is millennial.
Yeah,
But
so
this is yeah, this is just one website. I don't know.
yeah, so I'm saying like they be confusing, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna put her in Gen Z.
yeah, Gen Z, just throw in there.
So I have like all these people, like these youthful people who are just like they're a couple years behind me, so like they're still like they still want to fight. They still want to like they're thinking of like new ways to like do things. There's like
Yeah, my
it's beautiful,
biggest
and like even like if they need help, I'm there to help. Um,
my biggest thing is I ain't mean to cut you off,
that's okay.
but one of my biggest things as I've been experiencing as a father is like, what am I gonna like? How am I gonna? And other fathers, if y'all on this channel, please tap in. Like, how do you raise your child in an environment that is so hostile? Like, what do you do? How do you warn them? Like, these are the type of things that I start to think about when I see these type of things on TV now versus when I didn't have a child. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna talk to your child about the situation? Because they growing up in a world where they think everything is sunshines and daisies. But you know, even this video like I hope that this saves forever, and my son can go to this and click this later on in life and know like damn, like this was good. I'm glad my father spoke on this topic. Like I want him to see this type of stuff and understand that you know
Yeah, definitely.
we out here. We trying doing what
Uh,
we can.
so is that what how to in the midst of all of this? How much do you rely on your family for strength? I don't want to say like rely on them for strength.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying. I get you. Just for support, I guess you're
Yeah,
saying. I don't know. I really haven't been relying on them for strength or any type of support. You know what I mean? Mine's been more so just individual strength. I've been trying to just go deeper within myself because ain't nobody gonna be able to be there for you forever. You know what I mean? So I just been trying to. I mean, as much as they are there,
yeah.
you got to really, these are some of the battles you got to kind of fight by yourself. You know what I mean? And
Do you feel that? Where do you think that comes from? Because I don't really open up about anything
yeah, I don't
unless
either. I don't either.
unless it's time for it to just to be like fuck it, like explode. Like I don't
Yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I don't know. I just feel as though like they know, they know what's happening, but they don't feel it. Maybe they don't feel it the same way you do. You know what I mean? So, if as much as you want to talk to them about it, they got their own lives too. So it's like it's hard to come to people with what you got. You know what I mean? Because everybody, doing their own thing, got their own thing, with their own friends. And, you don't want to burden nobody with your stuff. That's where I be at. So
Do you
I
feel that's
just
something you need to change about yourself?
that's a good question. I mean, you can look at it either way. You know what I mean? You can look at that situation and say, "Nah, you good," or "Nah, I think I'm good." If they wanted to call and reach out and ask these type of questions and have these type of conversations, the thing is the floor got to be open on the other side. You can't just go to nobody
True.
and just be like trying to pour stuff on people because they don't be ready for it mentally sometimes. So they gotta. It has to be a mutual thing where somebody sit down and be really sit down like how you reached out on this platform to talk about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I feel comfortable enough to talk about this because you are open to listening to it. You know what I mean? So when heavy topics like this, people got to be like mentally there to sit down with you and be like, all right, let's talk for real.
I think as black men, we need to create that space for ourselves and
That's
like
key.
brothers. I was told, well, so my good sister Jen, uh, shout out to Jen. She told me like a while ago that I should maybe try to start like a men's support group.
That'd
Maybe
be
like,
good.
well, that'd be like really dope. I
I
like to.
feel good about talking about this right now. I don't get to talk about this. I didn't get to talk like this all last year. I'm in the midst of everything, so this is good. Like this is healthy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna light a candle after this.
Funny because so lately I had like a personal issue that like I was like really keeping into like myself, except for like one person. Like, I told like my best friend about it.
Yeah.
like the people that like I was having the issue with, it was just like I just didn't want to didn't want to say it. It was like really something frustrating. It's been addressed now though.
Yeah, that's good. As long
So
as it's been addressed.
yeah, it's not something like extreme, but it's just like an issue that's like bothering me.
I got you.
Like 2 nights ago, I had a dream that my barber had cut my beard off. Yeah, and this was like a nightmare kind of dream. It was
Yeah, I
just
know, right?
yeah, I haven't not had a beard in like 10 years. So I put it on Facebook yesterday that like I had a nightmare that my barber cut my beard off. I just thought it was funny. And then like the young lady Donna that does like card readings for me and like other people.
Uh,
So she saw it and commented, and she was just like, when people have dreams of their hair being cut, it means that they're scared of being vulnerable. So have you been like
damn.
you've been like holding yourself back from vulnerability? And I
I
put
like
like
that.
a meme there, and it was like don't read me, man. Don't put me out there like that. And it was it was spot on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I can imagine that being the case though. When somebody say that, I can imagine. But she probably was just trying to help.
yeah, I'm not. I know she was trying to help.
Yeah.
I was like, that is spot on. This is really what I was going through. It was like, because that's basically what it was. Like, I didn't want to address the issue, not because like I felt like the person wasn't gonna listen. It was just like for me to address it was felt like, am I bugging? Am I acting like a little bitch right now? Should I even bring it up? It was that really me being afraid to be vulnerable.
I
And
feel
I just
you.
did it like literally like 12 hours ago. Like I brought it up, but I was just like, that was literally it. Like I just didn't want to be like looked at as like less of a man. Cause I try to be the rock. Like
I
everybody.
got you. I got you. I got you.
Try to be like
When you're in that, when you're in that position on Blak Thoughtz though, everybody look at you like that. I look at you like that in a way for what you do, you know, in your instance, you holding it down. So you're doing your thing, man. You gotta just remember you're a human being. You're a human being.
Yeah. And that's the message I want like for all black men out there. Remember, you are a human being. You have the right to feel your feelings. You have the right to express your feelings.
That's the biggest misconception, man. That's the biggest thing. Like people be thinking that they can't share their thoughts and do all of this, or they can't even cry, or just can't do these normal fucking things anymore because they just gotta be somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's putting your body to do that, then you could do that.
Yeah. I've been telling people that recently. Just go ahead and cry.
Yeah, just let it out.
Have yourself a really good cry. Go ahead and scream if you want to. Don't nobody need to be around.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. But
yeah, it's just the judgment piece, though. People just gotta get away from it. It's being judged.
I just had to stop caring. I'm like, the more I learn to like just stop caring about what people think about me, especially what people are gonna say about me, it's easier to express myself.
Yo, I'm glad you brought that up too, because to add to that, that's the reason why like this podcast has been helping me to do that. Like at first, you just don't understand the mental walls that you be having for yourself. Like when I first started, I was like, I'm about to put my face on camera, my voice sound ugly, you know what I mean? Like you just be thinking like all these things. But then when you get into it and you be doing it for so long, you be like, man, this shit ain't nothing. Like, you know, it's just how I be. You just don't know the limitation that you be having on yourself.
Yeah. Even since like I took like a couple weeks off since like the last recording, like getting back into it, like, and I had like stuff planned. I had like episodes and topics planned. I hit up people that like wanted to be on it, and then like I had like moments of, like doubt in my mind. It's just like, do I even know what I'm doing anymore?
Damn.
It's like literally from jump. I never really knew what I was doing.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you too. I be having those thoughts. Like when I be on my shit, sometimes I'll be like, man, like what am I doing this for? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, sometimes you be feeling lost in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know I do it because I love it.
Yeah,
I do it because it makes me feel good, and it makes other people feel good.
That's true. I can agree with that.
Even if it's just like my thoughts that they agree with, it might not even necessarily be me. I've made so many connections, like people like yourself, like they may relate to you. Just like if I could be the avenue between you and another person that like they hear from you and they like your work, they like your thoughts. Like that's good for me. I like uplifting Black women on Black Women Wednesdays.
My son in there crying. I'm gonna go get my son real quick.
He's out. Okay.
Nah, man, I'm gonna go grab him. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got hearing. Bro.
We got the young king coming on. So guys, I'm still here. I'm just handsome. Everyone like listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all the other platforms. Just enjoy.
All
Enjoy.
right.
Hey, King.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Please.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. You okay? Yeah, buddy. That's my son, y'all. G3. Come on, buddy.
You feel he's? Do you feel like?
Huh?
You feel like he's?
Yeah. I mean, I look at raising my child like if I had to be raised again by myself and I could do it, how would I do it? That's how I look at it.
That is, yeah, that is a beautiful.
I look at it like that, like damn, if I could raise myself, how would I raise myself? You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? I pretty much pretend like this is just like me in the past, and I'm just watching myself.
That's really,
Yeah, that's how I play it.
yeah.
This is me, but from another time period.
Oh, that is nasty.
All right. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna hold you up. Like we've been here for like a minute.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my guy fed.
I appreciate you, brother. It's been a great session. It's been a great little therapy session too.
Thank you, man. Thank you. He'll see this later on in life. I like this because he's gonna see himself later on in life and be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I'll make sure I get you the recording of this too.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh man.
Yeah. This is a great talk. This is a good talk for my mental health. Blak Thoughtz always wins with that mental health shit. And I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, man.
I really do.
This has for all our Black family out there. This has been Being a Black Man in 2021, featuring my good brother Gary Foos. At the end. Make sure you can follow Blak Thoughtz on all social media outlets at Blak Thoughtz, BLAKT. And you can catch us on Google Podcasts. My good brother, you want to tell them where they can catch you real quick, or you want me to just put it out there?
You can follow me on my personal Instagram if you want to meet me personally at Gary Foods. For wrestling and all related art things, I'm on the Rolling Pin podcast. As of right now, you know, things might be subject to change, but for right now, that's where I'm at. Well, I would love to meet anybody who'd love to meet me.
Got you.
Yeah.
So, my brother, again, I thank you for doing us. I thank you for coming out. For all our brothers watching this, I pray that you found a moment of peace in watching this, and I ask you to just share the episode, share the audio, help other brothers find moments of peace, and we about to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, brother, enjoy the rest of your day, man.
All right, man. You too. Thank you, man. We'll be in touch.
Be in touch. All right. Peace.
All right. Peace. Close this. My guy, you all right?